Hello YouTubers, it's Championdjk coming at you again with another weekly episode. And it's been an interesting week this week, sort of. Anyway, Burt Reynolds, rest in peace. Today is Friday. That's unfortunate. I really wish I had like a cool Bandit Trans Am to free the piece on in this video, but I do not. So I'm just going to show this. This is an Erdl Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am. You guys know I'm a fan, huge fan of the Trans Am, and yeah. So, and a big part of that is this Smokey and the Bandit movies when I was growing up. So, yeah. Anyway, so we will go ahead and take a look at this guy close up in the second segment. I don't think I've ever shown it close up. So we will look at that. I will open up a Firebird in this episode, even though it's not going to be even close to a Smokey and the Bandit Firebird. This is a Hot Wheels or online exclusives Series 1 Light My Firebird. I just picked that randomly off of my wall back there just to go ahead and open up, because eventually everything back there is pretty much going to be opened up if I don't already have a duplicate of it. So there's that. I didn't get a lot this week. I found some mainline Hot Wheels and I got some mail, which is right here. But I did get that display case, that Hot Wheels display case from Amazon.com, which I showed in a previous video that I just released last night, which was Thursday. This is Friday. That's a pretty cool case. So again, I'm trying to figure out this room and trying to figure out what exactly I want to do with it now, what I want to move around and all that. I had some people calling out for a room tour. It ain't going to happen anytime soon because I got some work to do in here before it's going to be ready to show off. So, anyway, got to do that. My 10-card Tuesday episode, by the way, this week is going to be pretty cool and cringeworthy if you do not like Diecast being opened up. So there's a hint on that one. So I'm kind of excited to film it, actually. So there's that. And yeah, so I guess I'll just get into what I got this week. I got one Johnny Lightning in the store, which is this one right here, Thunderbolt. So that was pretty cool. So I just started kind of collecting the Hot Wheels version of this. So now it's kind of cool to get a Johnny Lightning version that just hit the pegs. So I'll open that up in the second segment. I also picked up two random Johnny Lightnings off of my wall to go ahead and open up. These two 86 Buick Regal. So I'm going to go ahead and open these up. These are from 2017 release one. One is version D and one is version B. So there was a version A and a version C. These are the two that I have, which is B and D. I don't know if I ever found A or C. And off the top of my head, I do not recall what color they were. I know there was a black one of these out. Might have been a black one and a white one. Might have been. Well, anyway, we're gonna go ahead and open those up in the second segment. I got some Kyosho here. I got some really cool Kyosho, including this Nissan R380, or Prince rather, R380i, or R381, I guess, in Roman numeral. This thing is super cool. Excited to show that close up. And then I got four more Kyoshos, three of which are Ferraris, and we'll take a look at those in the second segment. And the other one is a Jaguar XJ220 in this box, which we'll take a look at that in the second segment, which I don't need to pull them out now because we're just going to look at them close up. But they are fantastic, and this one especially. Boom. This Jaguar is just super cool. And then I got three Ferraris, so you'll have to just watch the second half to find out which ones they are. My Kyosho collection is ever so growing. I literally threw on just a one bid on each one of these cars and ended up winning all four of them kind of unexpectedly. So I was like, oh, shoot. I didn't mean to win all four, but oh well, I got them. They're here. So awesome sauce. All right, so next up we got Hot Wheels 2018 P case, and I picked up a lot of the P case. I did. Starting with, and P case is showing up, by the way, at Targets. Okay, it's showing up at Targets. It's showing up in little side shippers. that are containing the next edition, red edition cars, which are these right here, which is kind of goofy because this AMG Mercedes really is pretty much all white except for the rims. But we'll take a look at these closer up in the second segment. I'll just go ahead and open them all. So a 32 Ford, a Time Attack C, and this Mercedes AMG GT. I'll go up and open up those three. The P case does have some pretty cool cars. And I apologize, but I really don't know what carries over from N to P. But this would have been the Super had there been a Super in the shipper that I opened. But it was not a Super, so it's just a regular. I don't have the Super of this. This is actually a Super I wouldn't mind having. I think this Ford Escort. It looks pretty cool. And I do like this casting, so that'd be a cool one to get. So there's 2 Porsches in the case, 3 Porsches in the case. You know I'm a Porsche fan. So you got the green 934, this white Porsche Panamera, and then the red 918 Spyder. So we'll crack all these Hot Wheels in the second segment, so we don't really need to spend time on them. We've got this 52 Chevy in black, which looks pretty cool. So it's a recolor of the one that was a Super. This one's pretty neat. This 2019 Chevy Silverado Trail Boss LT. Pretty cool. And speaking of Silverado, Auto World announced today that they have a casting coming out, or a new tooling coming out, of a square body Chevy truck. So that is pretty cool. It looks like there's like 8 different versions of it that could possibly come out with that tooling. And really neat to see Auto World branch out into a truck. And definitely a logical choice. Definitely going to be popular. It's definitely going to... A lot of new people that didn't collect Auto World before will definitely be hunting those for sure, which will make it more difficult for me to get them. Which, probably not too much, because I bet you they are going to produce a lot more. The production run for Auto World is probably gonna raise significantly for whatever series that debuts in, which will probably be in, I imagine, either the first or second series of 2019. My guess is it's the second series of 2019. Just saying. All right, so there's that, and then we got a couple more here. I'm just kind of showing them threes. We got the Chevy Chevelle, the 55 Chevy, Morris Mini. Chevy Chevelle's kind of goofy, but I had to pick it up. The Grumobile and the Minions. Just thought that was kind of neat, so we'll go ahead and open that up. This Dodge Challenger actually looks really sharp in this purple. The Countach, of course, you know I'm picking up this Countach in white. Really cool. That almost looks like it could be a red edition by those other red edition standards. McLaren P1. And let's see here, Volkswagen T2 pickup. And the TV series Batmobile. So that's what I grabbed from that case. That's like the most Hot Wheels I've grabbed out of one case code in a long time. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna open up all those Hot Wheels. We're gonna take a look at some really cool Kyosho, seriously really cool Kyosho, and we'll open up that other couple items and take a look at this little Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am. All right, so let's go ahead and flip the camera around. Take a look at some stuff. All right, guys, let's relax and take a quick look at some cars. Here we go. So here's the Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am. This would be like the Smokey and the Bandit 2 Trans Am, because it's not the 77. Here it is, Pontiac Firebird from Erdel, Dyersville, Iowa, made in Korea. So it's got a plastic base, it's got a metal body. No, not really any suspension. It does have opening doors. Try to open those real quick. So you can see inside that interior there. Not very detailed. Not the best looking Trans Am tooling, but it is cool to add to the collection. So I'm going to put it over by my Firebirds. And that is a pretty neat one. Just wanted to show that real quick in light of this week's events. So there you go. So Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am. All right, so that's pretty cool. Let's take a quick look at this. Just open this other Firebird real quick. This is that Light My Firebird Series 1 Hot Wheels online exclusive. This one is number 4302 out of 10,000. Just open it right up here, maybe. You can get into it. And that's tough to get into. Usually I don't have a problem opening these RLC cars. This packaging seems like it's more difficult than normal. There we go. Got it open. And it looks okay. It's got that chromed paint finish. The wheel is wonky on this one side. Not my favorite Firebird casting at all. HWC John, that's funny. Anyway, if you actually, I didn't pick up, if you belong to the RLC Club, you know that they came out with their original 16 or whatever. This was one of the castings that they released. I actually didn't buy it. I thought about it, and this is just like one of those Firebird castings that I'm just not going to go after every one. Just not going to. I just don't dig it all that much. Now, if I had an original Redline that was in great condition, I would be happy to add it or have it in the collection. But this one, these neoclassic ones like this, I'm not super into them. I've got a couple of them and they're cool, but it's all right. But there that one is. Just wanted to get that one open and off of my wall. So done and done. And then next up, let's take a look at these two Racing Champions Buick Regal T-Type. So we got a blue one. This is a really cool casting. I really like it. Cool hood already open. That's nice. I don't have to worry about trying to open it. And here's a maroon one. Open that one up. Open up this hood right away too. Okay. So right away I noticed that that's wonky. But nothing really, I guess, wrong with it. It opens up really easy, which is actually kind of cool. But it does open up a little wonky, so it's definitely not in totally 100% correct, like this one, where it opens, stays open, and then closes. Might as well take a quick look at the motor while I've got it open. Got some pretty cool detail in there. That's awesome. This, I don't know what to say about it. It's either was it originally Johnny Lightning tooling? Was it originally Racing Champions? Was it used by both? I don't really know the history behind it, but it does have Johnny Lightning totally stamped into the base, even though it was released in Racing Champions Mint. I believe it was definitely used in Racing Champions early, though, as well. You got some sort of weird, you could see that in the light there. I don't know if that's the paint or what that is in the back. That might actually be in the casting. But really cool tooling. It's one of those different ones, like Racing Champions kind of did a thing where they had spare parts, quick V6, shout out to you, where they kind of had the additional parts for the bumper. So this is a plastic insert for this bumper and grill, and a plastic insert for the back bumper. The taillights and headlights, of course, are painted on detail, but I do think Round 2 did a good job of this tooling. If you've ever seen the Racing Champions version of it, and sometime I'll have to bring that out, the actual Racing Champions release of this, it looks so cheap and chintzy compared to the Round 2 treatment of the tooling. The Round 2 one obviously isn't perfect. This grill's, this bumper's not in completely perfect. It had that weird issue with the hood. But it's definitely a step up from the original Racing Champions releases. It does look really cool, though. The tires are nice, soft rubber, and it rolls nice, all that good stuff. You G-Body fans will definitely dig this, and should get some for your collection. Pretty cool. All right, so there is those two. And then let's take a look at this Johnny Lightning right here. We got the 1964 Ford Thunderbolt. Pretty nifty. Guardsman blue poly. This is set A. That's a cool little fact there. Based on the Fairlane, use a Mastiff 427 cubic inch V8. Was only rated at 425 horsepower, but actually made closer to 600. There was a little cheating going on back in that day. And let's go ahead and open it up. I didn't grab a Hot Wheels one to compare it to. Shame on me. They are pretty similar though. And this is really nice. I'm glad to have it. You got the teardrop hood. There's the front end of it there. This is one of those castings as well that has additional pieces. So the front end here is plastic. It actually has lens detail for the headlights. And it has, yeah, lens detail for the taillights. That's not just painted. That's actually an insert. And that's plastic right there. So, that's interesting. I think I'm seeing one other thing that's pretty cool. So here is the motor. Very detailed. And I'm thinking this trunk opens. Maybe. It looks like it did at one time. It looks like it's definitely a separate cast piece. That almost made me think for a second that this was actually an Erdl Vintage American Muscle tooling, but it is not. That has a metal base on the bottom, which those type of toolings would not. It looks like this trunk though is a separate piece, and it looks like it might have opened maybe at one time. This one's a little confusing, guys. I'm not really sure. Someone that knows about this casting, let me know. Was it originally in a Johnny Lightning lineup, or maybe this was originally in a Racing Champions lineup? I'm not really sure. It's got the Johnny Lightning stamp there on the base. But Johnny Lightning does not typically use any lens detail in headlights or taillights, and generally doesn't use plastic bits and stuff like that. That was something that you would see on the Racing Champions Mint line. So this is an interesting casting. So when it comes out in the alternate color, I'll definitely pick it up. I think it's very cool. I'm really glad I got it. I debated on getting it or not. I'm like, well, it's a Thunderbolt, so I'm gonna have to get it. And I am definitely glad that I did. That is a cool little tooling, especially now that I know, and I didn't know this until we got it out of the package here, that it actually had lens detail. Really neat to find that out. All right, so next up we got Kyosho. We're going to take a look at Kyosho, and then we're going to crack a bunch of Hot Wheels real quick. Starting with this Kyosho. This thing is super cool. I actually put like a lowball offer in on this, and then I just said forget it, I'm just gonna buy it now before someone else buys it, and I did, and I am glad I did. It rolls okay. You should look up this car if you're not familiar with it. It is a old Japanese Grand Prix car. It is a Prince R380, which Prince eventually merged with Nissan. Here's some information on it that you can read. This was in the Nissan Racing Car Collection. This would be a cool one to get too. I'd fathom it'd be a little expensive, but all of these cars actually that are on here would be cool to get. I don't know what all got released, but definitely some cool ones. And this I just had to have when I saw it. It looks so cool. And it would look really cool. I should grab really quick a GT40. Let's grab one here. Let's grab this ultra red. Why not? Actually, forget it. I'm not going to do the ultra red. Let's do this red one. Really cool. Those two together look pretty neat. Notice they're like pretty much close to the same size. The GT40 is just a little bit bigger. I don't know if this is true 1/64 scale or not, but it's Kyosho, so it's got to be somewhat close. And really neat little tooling. You do get separate pieces here for the tail lamps, separate pieces, of course, for the headlamps, little separate pieces for the mirrors and stuff. The top, you may have noticed, is actually plastic, so that is an added piece that the top is plastic and painted with the windshield and stuff, which actually gives it a realistic look as to how the car was. These wheels being different are accurate. So if you look up this car, this looks exactly like the Grand Prix car. So I definitely recommend, if you're a fan of Kyosho, or if you're a fan of vintage racing and stuff like that, that this would be a piece that you should seek out and find. I think I got lucky on the price I paid for it, honestly, and I'll tell you what it was. It was $14.99 shipped, and I'm guessing that is probably a steal for this. Granted, it's the only time I've ever really seen it on eBay. I'm sure it's appeared more, and I just haven't been looking for it. And I wasn't looking for it. I stumbled upon this one when I found it, and she is a beaut. So that is just a really fantastic looking piece. All right, so there is that one. Next up, we'll take a look at the other non-Ferrari, and that is this Jaguar XJ220, which is just a cool car all around. Remember when this car kind of like first came out when I was a kid. It is definitely an interesting one. It's got like these weird side markers are actually right here, like below the mirror, which is interesting. This one doesn't have headlights. I don't think these headlights were pop-up, were they? No. They just painted over them. It must have had headlight covers. I don't know. Admittedly, I don't know a whole ton about the Jaguar XJ220, just the fact that it looks cool and I like it. Here's the series it was in. It was in British Car, Miniature Car Collection. There's the colors it was available in. Of course, silver would have been the best one to get, but this, and Travis Heavy Metal 164 has it in silver. But the red one looks really cool. The green one would be really cool to get too. I wouldn't mind having all three of them, to be honest with you. But lots of detail going on in this. Just a really cool, very, very cool little casting. And a really long car. I mean, look how long this thing is compared to this Prince. I mean, it's like super, it dwarfs this Prince. So, awesome. So really cool to get this. I'm really happy to have this Jag in my collection. I really wanted it, so I'm glad I picked it up. Kyosho is just so cool, man. And I'm telling you, once you get like one or two, you kind of like just start hunting them, and you try to start finding good deals, and then you start pulling the trigger on them. So like this one right here. I didn't grab it for this video, but I already have this tooling. I've got it in yellow, but I found it in silver, threw a lowball bid on it, and won it. But this is the 512M. Here's the other colors it was available in, so red and silver. So I've got the yellow and the silver one. This is from Ferrari Mini Car Collection 3. These came as model kits. If you want to see the other cars that were in Collection 3, here's a list of them here. Out of all of these, I've got the Mondial. I would like to have the 250 GTO for sure. Even in that silver color would be really cool. That's one I really want. 328 GTB would be pretty cool. Or do I already have the GTB? No, I don't. I don't have it in either of those colors. The Dino Competizione would be pretty awesome. Anyway, any of these Kyosho Ferraris would be pretty awesome. And this is no exception. So 512. This is also a Hot Wheels casting that I do collect as well. And is a pretty cool one. So gotta dig that. All right, and moving on, we got from Ferrari Collection 6. We get this awesome looking thing in yellow right here. Really cool. So those headlights are obviously inserted. Look at that little tiny Ferrari logo right there. The wheels look great. I mean, this looks like the real car. I mean, really, it looks awesome. So this would be the 430 Scuderia. These are the colors available. It was available in red, blue, and yellow in this release anyway, and Ferrari Mini Car Collection 6. Again, it was a model kit when it came out, and wow, does it look great. That just looks so good. The lensed
Headlights look just absolutely fantastic. Taillights look great. The wheels look so good. Base is basic, but that is normal for Kyosho. And just, that is a really cool looking car. I really dig it. And then if you want to see the other castings that were available in Collection 6, here those are right there. Definitely want the FXX. Yeah, the 333 SP, I think you can get pretty cheap. I've seen it come up a few times. I've been tempted to grab it. Those are probably the two notable ones in there that I definitely would want. This 512, do I have this one or not? I don't recall, but I've got a few from that era. But just a really cool collection of Ferraris there. And then lastly is this one right here. This is a very similar car, the convertible version. The wheels look a little wonky on it, but you could definitely take it apart and fix it because this one's held together with screws, which maybe I'll do that. Almost like the axle's not quite set in there right, which I can definitely fix that just by taking it apart. And so these came as model kits, so whoever sold this actually put this together. Really cool though. So this is the Scuderia Spider 16M, and this is from Ferrari Mini Car Collection 8. So there's the three colors it was available in. This is the silver one. Can never go wrong with getting a car in silver. And here's the other cars that were available in the set. Ooh, that F40. Definitely want that one. Definitely want that 512BB. Definitely want the 458 Italia. Lots of cool ones in this one. The Enzo GT Concept, yes sir. That 250 Testarossa, yes sir. The 599XX, of course. I do have the 308 Quattro Vivole. I have it in white. Man, that's a good release 8. So definitely some cars I'm going to be wanting to snag from that. But just look at this thing. Kyosho just does it right. It's very, very highly detailed. Yeah, I mean, you have to get these things basically from Japan, so you have to wait a while for them to be shipped to you. So if you're an impatient person, not the brand to collect. All right, so, which generally I'm impatient, but when it comes to acquiring diecast for some reason, I can handle the weight. All right, so next up is these Hot Wheels. Let's just crack a bunch of them open. 69 Chevelle SS 396 in the Art Car series. Kind of interesting. This is R. It's got a metal flake purple with all these other weird door panels and stuff. I just thought it did kind of look cool, so I went ahead and picked it up. The 55 Chevy. There's that guy. Primer. Flames. Looks pretty cool. Not bad. Morse Mini. Kind of a cool little casting. An Urban Outlaw livery, which, yeah, I liked it at first. This livery, I will admit, is getting a little played out. So, sorry, Magnus. Should probably just stick with putting it on Porsches, though. But I would like to see some Porsches without it at the same time. So, speaking of that, 934 Turbo RSR in a nice plain old green with tampos in the right places, headlights. No taillights, but we do get headlights, and you get this black mark on the back of the spoiler, which I wish they would have put headlights instead of that. There's a, what is that on top? It's just a weird flaw in the paint right on the top. But dig this casting. Who doesn't like a nice Porsche? All right, so there's that. And let's see, sticking with Porsche for a moment. We got the Porsche 918 Spider. That car just looks quick, doesn't it? Tampos in the right places on this one. This, of course, is a new model for 2018 in the second color that was so far that we've seen it in. We've seen it in silver already. Here it is in red. It looks great in red. It definitely does. Hot Wheels did a great job with that one. I applaud them on that one. All right, next up, sticking with Porsche. My least favorite Porsche casting, one of them anyway, the Porsche Panamera. You know, whatever. It's a four-door, right? Not really into four-door Porsches. in police livery. It looks kind of like a British police car. Right? Or maybe, I don't know. What uses that blue and yellow look to it? Somebody will let me know in the comments. Kind of cool. The Grumobile. Crazy looking. This casting that's plastic. This top bit is metal. The sides are plastic. I think this is the only bit that is metal right around here. The rest of it is plastic. Kind of cool though. What do you think about that one? So there's that, and this looks pretty good. This Chevy pickup, black and red. Dig black and red. Batmobile. We're just gonna really just blaze through these. Batmobile looks pretty cool. Who doesn't like the classic Batmobile? It's been released a ton of times now, but here it is in the metal flake blue, which looks alright. You could probably get a whole series of Batman cars in this metal flake blue. They basically have released all of them, I think, in this color. A lot of them anyway. The pickup, T2 pickup. VW, pretty sweet. Of course, one of my favorites, Lamborghini Countach pace car. It doesn't quite fit on the back of the VW. That's cool. Still wish they would have released this casting without the light bar. I just think they should have done another Countach without a light bar. That would be great. Better to me than the pace car, even though the pace cars, you know, I guess was a real car and all that. All right, so McLaren P1 in green. I like the P1. They always put it out in plain colors, which is nice. Plain tampos. It usually gets both the front and the back treatment. So, because there's not really much you could else do with it because it's got that cutout in the side. So, what are you going to do? Can't really put crazy tampos on it, and I'm glad that they don't. But here it is in this nice colored green. Let's see here. Dodge Charger SRT. I think this looks great, actually, in this purple color. Not that I would ever buy a Dodge Charger, let alone one that in purple, but I think it does look really good. It's got tampos on the top, tampos on the side. Looks pretty sweet. Let's see here, then. Chevy Silverado Trail Boss LT. That looks great. That's a good one. I hope some people do. I hope some customizers do some really cool customs with this one. I think that's pretty cool. Glad to see another lifted truck in the lineup. And this one looks really cool. I think it looks definitely better than the Ford Raptor one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And let's see here. Let me get the Ford Escort RS 1600, which is the casting that's been out for a little while. And there it is, 50th anniversary racing livery. It looks okay like this. I don't like those wheels. I do not like those 50th anniversary wheels. And thankfully they put a 50 on them. So this is probably the only year they will ever be used. So that's good. And then 3 red edition cars. So we got the Mercedes-AMG, which like I said is basically a white edition car. It's pearl white with the red rings around the rims. Same here. This one is white. This early times 32 Ford. White, and then the time attack. So in my opinion, a pretty lame assortment of red editions. And I think that these are the last red editions for the year, right? Pretty sure they are. Ooh, we got ourselves an error. This axle's all jammed up. The wheel doesn't even touch. The back of this car is not on appropriately. Oops, maybe I shouldn't have opened it. Opening door on this one. Whatever. Some people like the time attacks. I think it'd be a cool one to do some customizing with, but as it sits, not a huge fan of it. This Mercedes casting is alright too, but again, not a huge fan of it. This one looks really weird too. There's something weird going on right here in this fender. that is not, I don't think, normal. So that's weird. Tampos are a little messed up on it too. And this one's alright, I guess. This little hot rod. Yeah, looks okay. Alright, so that's going to be it for this video, guys. So I ended up making it a really extremely long one, which I totally did not intend, but got some really cool Kyosho, and I hope you guys enjoyed that piece. And that's going to be it for this week, guys. So thank you very much for watching. Have yourself a great day.